So for this week's assignment, we're supposed to use the same data set as the last assignment in the course. I've got it open in Google Sheets here, but the things I do are going to be the same in Excel or in Numbers. We're supposed to select a region. This is the North Central region, West South Central. I'm just going to keep scrolling. Let's just do East South Central. And I'm clicking the first of the numbers in the top left corner. Then I'm going to hold Shift and click the bottom right corner to select these, and then right click copy, and then I'm going to hit the button down here to get a new tab, and then I'm going to right click paste. Actually, I'm going to right click paste that down here, that way I can put my headers on, because I don't remember which one's which. I bet I could figure it out. Just copy those list price with Control C and Control V. There we go, we got everything copied over. And I just want to remember for my report what region I did. I just grabbed a random one. I think it was East South Central, but I kind of forgot already. But just make a note of the region that you use. So we got our data. We're told that X is supposed to be the square feet and Y is supposed to be the listing price, which kind of makes sense, right? You would expect that it's the square footage of the home that determines the list price, not the other way around. You wouldn't look at the price of the home and you'd say, okay, that home must be this many square feet. I guess you could, but it's usually the other way around. Oh, well, sorry, it should be. No, I guess that doesn't make sense the other way I was saying it. You wouldn't look at a home price and then say, okay, we need to change it to be this many square feet, right? You wouldn't say, this home is $200,000, I need to add on 400 square feet. Home price isn't causing the change in the relationship. The square footage is causing the change, so the square footage should be X. So X is our square feet, Y is our list price. We're supposed to create the least squares regression equation, which is just Y equals MX plus B, okay? Or with our textbook's notation, it's Y equals M B sub 1 X plus B sub 0. Where B sub 1 is like your M, it's your slope. B sub 0 is your y-intercept. So to calculate the slope in whatever program you're using, just type equals slope, open up parentheses, click and drag the y column first. So list price was y, so click and drag the y column. Put a comma, and then click and drag the x column. The x column is supposed to be square feet, so click and drag x. And then close the parentheses. So there's our slope, the y-intercept. Same thing, type equals, but intercept is the key word for the y-intercept. It's got to be the y value first, put a comma, then the x value. I don't know why they went y first and x second when they made the program. Same thing with Excel, it's y first in Excel, x second. I don't know why they didn't just do x, y. But. So there's our slope and there's our y-intercept, okay? We calculate the least squares regression equation. To put that all together, you'd say y equals 103.742x plus 38224.8 for the y-intercept. That's the least squares regression equation. They ask you to calculate R, the correlation coefficient. So type equals correl, open parentheses. In this one, it doesn't matter which one's X or which one's Y. If you were to switch them, you'd still get the same correlation coefficient. So click and drag the X and the Y column with the comma in between them, just like we did before. Close the parentheses, and there's our correlation coefficient. It's a really tight correlation. 0.94869, that's pretty high. That's a pretty strong correlation. That means these two are pretty linearly related. The increase in square footage causes an increase in list price in almost all cases. The assignment asks you to interpret B1 and B0. That means interpret the slope, B1, and interpret the y-intercept, B0. I don't know why, but the instructions tell us that B sub 0 is the cost when it's just the land. Oh, yeah, that does make sense. Okay, because square feet is talking about the square footage of the house. Okay. So the y-intercept is what we're predicting for y when x equals 0. Okay. So we're predicting a home price of $38,000 when there is no house in the land because the square footage is 0. So that's your interpretation. That's really all you need to do. You could add on to that too. You could say, hey, we expect some flexibility with this too, because not all land plots in the town are the same. There can be varying sizes. It can be, one plot can be half an acre larger than another plot. So predicting the value of the land is probably hard to do with a y-intercept. It's probably off by a bit. And then interpret the slope. Just tell us what the slope means based on what we've been doing in Zybooks. Okay, so I'll let you do that interpretation. 103.74. We're supposed to calculate r squared. So you could just take this number, here, r squared. So I'm going to type equals D7. See how it's highlighting my result. And then I'm going to put the power operator. So shift 6 gets me that caret operator. And then I'm going to put a 2 to square it. So that's r squared. Now the interpretation you're going to want to make with r squared is that r squared represents the percent of the relationship that's captured by the linear model. Percent of the fluctuation that's captured. So 90% of the relationship between square feet and list price is captured by our least squares regression equation. That means it covers most of the details. There's about 10% of the fluctuation that's due to other factors that aren't in our model. But 90% is explained by our model. And then general conclusions. Look at the least squares regression equation. What does this tell us about the square footage of a house and the list price? So don't overthink that too much. Let me know if you have any other questions. Just want to make this video to go over the details of how to make those calculations.